Hello. So, this, following on from my 10 things I love about Morris dancing, this is the more controversial 5 things I hate about Morris dancing. But quick disclaimer, I'll try and be quick. First of all, I don't really hate Morris dancing, but it was catchier than saying here are 5 things that are slightly less than my favourite thing about Morris dancing, or 5 things I don't love, And secondly, I've forgotten what my second point was. But so it's basically that just because you don't love every part of something doesn't mean you don't love it overall, and I feel like sometimes it doesn't take away the fact that you love it overall. So bear with me for those disclaimers. I'll try and say what I mean and not make everyone really angry at me when I post this to Morris community groups. So, moving on to the point number 1, I've written on my bullet point list, the outfit. So if you've watched my Things I Love video, you might notice the outfit was also the first thing I said I loved about Morris dancing. And while I do love the outfit for its look, and I love wearing it, I love the ribbons, love the colours, but this isn't the video about things I love, this is the video of things I hate. I don't hate it, but I find it very uncomfortable, especially in the heat. So Morris dancing is aerobic, it's athletic, depends on the style and tradition you're doing, but you might be leaping about, moving about, you got these kneeling capers, whatever. You don't want to be wearing smart trousers and a button-up shirt and then, smart shoes. You want to be wearing trainers, shorts and a t-shirt. Fiddlesticks kit, or Northwest kit often. Even worse, I've got over-the-knee socks or tights, bloomers. I love showing people my frilly bloomers, so here's my frilly bloomers. So I love the frilly bloomers, but here are the frilly bloomers. Under a skirt. Skirt is not particularly light material, quite heavy material skirt. So now I'm doing exercise in a shin-length skirt. On top of which, I'm wearing wooden-soled clogs, which probably, again, is I don't find them very comfortable. Some people do, but not ideal for, exercise. You want trainers, right? Blouse, not very light material. Velvet black waistcoat. Okay, bearing in mind, we've had some very hot summers in the last few years. It's often easily over 30 degrees. Hot sun. I'm wearing a velvet waistcoat over a heavy blouse, a skirt with bloomers and tights and wooden-soled shoes and trying to dance about. It's kind of ridiculous. I would say the most comfortable kit out of my kits is probably the Big Jigs or the Golden Star kit, which is I would say the Golden Star, because the breeches and socks I find better than the trousers. Which is smart shirt and breeches and, at least soft-soled shoes. Fiddlesticks, I would say, is the worst. Pedants, border kit, worst and best, because the rag coat's pretty bad, but at least you can get it on and off easily when you're not dancing. But would I change it? No. Basically, I think that's one of the things where it's just because you don't like something about something doesn't mean that it takes away what you do like, doesn't mean it has to change. And I would rather, if I had the choice to do it in just shorts and a t-shirt, I wouldn't. I would still wear the kit. I think the kit brings so much to the Morris dancing that for me, the trade-off of the look versus the comfort, I would rather wear the kit, even though it's not the most comfortable thing in the world, because I love it so much. Secondly, further to that point, I love all the hats. Here's my hat. This is my Fiddlesticks hat. By the way, speaking of... I'm going to take my headband off. Speaking of uncomfortable kit, these are very controversial in Fiddlesticks. Some people find them very uncomfortable and think we shouldn't... don't want to wear them, don't want them to be part of the kit. Some people love the hat. I'm going to keep the hat on for the rest of this video. Here's point number 2. Photographs, but I only mean a very specific type of photograph here, before everyone says, how dare you tell me I can't take photographs? So yes, take a photograph when I'm dancing, take a photograph of the set when they're dancing, take a photograph of the day of dance with all the Morris dancers in it, and just take loads of photographs. But there's a specific type of photograph that kind of bothers me. Again, so I know I called the video hate's too strong a word, but it's basically when you're in kit, people sometimes feel like they can just walk up, shove a camera in your face, take a photo and leave. And I'll be eating lunch or something. I'll literally have just taken a bite of a sandwich. I'll be and then someone will go, and then go. And, it's very disconcerting. Please just say, can I take a photo of you before you take the photo? Obviously, if you're not in a situation where you can ask, then that's a situation where it's probably okay to just take the photo, because it's probably not really weirdly close and intimate. If I'm in the performance spot, absolutely, just, I don't care, take photos, I'm performing. But yeah, if I'm eating lunch, and I've just taken a bite of my sandwich, just warn me that you're going to take a photo. It's really weirdly common to just for people to do that. I think it's because we were in a funny outfit, and from the public's point of view, apparently we're performing all the time, but we're not actually performing when we're eating our lunch. There's an exception to this. Very quick tangent. I used to be a historical reenactor. I did not feel the same way, because I felt that I was sort of in character and sort of performing all the time as long as I was in the public eye in my costume. So I actually had no problem, because I was sort of being a character and not doing a performance in the same way. So I had no problem as a historical reenactor with people taking photos of me while I ate my lunch. But as a Morris dancer, if you can ask first, do ask first. You'll probably will be told yes. I've Morris danced for about 12 years, almost 12 years. It'll be 12 years in September, and with 5 different groups, and I've only ever said no once, because I was very upset. I was almost in tears at the time. Some lady came along and said, "Can I pose for a photo?" And I just couldn't bring myself to do it. I did. The other 2 people I was with were happy to pose. She actually kind of got into like a weird argument with me where she wanted me to be in the photo as well. So I'll just add another thing. If someone tells you no, like, just accept that. They probably won't, though. You're probably fine. Just, it's polite to ask. Number 3, jokes. That's all I've written. Okay, so actually, I love jokes. I love puns. I love it when people make the Nobel Prize joke, even though I've heard it a million times. Someone's not the bells on, oh, you've won the Nobel Prize. But, so I don't hate them, but they do get old, and I think there seems to be this thing where members of the public seem to think they're the only person who's ever come up with, "You'll never sneak up on anyone dressed like that," and "I heard you coming," and actually, usually I'm in the mood for it, and I sneak around when they say it, but there have been occasions where I haven't actually been able to, like, bring up a good reaction to, not like a bad reaction, but I've kind of just been like that when I've heard it, and they've been like, "Oh, sorry," and I've just been like, "I'm really sorry," but like I think it once happened where someone said it to me, and I walked like 5 meters, and then like another person said it to me, and I like went round the corner, and like a third person said it to me, and I just was like, and the third person was like really insulted that I didn't laugh at their joke. But yeah, so just be aware that if you're making a joke to a Morris dancer, they've definitely heard it before. Also, I'm not a fan of people singing Jingle Bells at me. I don't know why people do it, but when I'm in kit, especially when I'm in Cotswold kit and I've got my bells on, like a random bloke will just be like, "Jingle bells, and I don't really know why. And they won't sing further than that, and they'll often just shout, "Jingle bells," at you, and I don't really know why that is, so it's just disconcerting. I think they're making a joke, but I don't get it. Right, number 4. Yes, I am so getting through this video faster than my other one. Right, no, well, not anymore, because I've just distracted myself. What number am I on? Number 4. Number 4 is that it takes up loads of time. So this is a love and a hate. I actually love that I've got Morris dancing on pretty much every weekend. By the time I'm in a border side, a Cotswold side, well, 2 Cotswold sides, a northwest side, and a Molly dancing side, which to be fair is only active in the winter, I pretty much have Morris dancing on like every weekend, and I love that. But it is just difficult to plan my life around, and I gave up historical reenactment because of time clashes, and I love reenactment. I would have liked to be able to do both, but when it came down to it, I love Morris dancing more, and so that shows how much I love Morris dancing. So I'm not unhappy that I'm Morris dancing every weekend, but I think sometimes it can just be overwhelming with the time commitment. Morris dancing is something that if you get too into it, it can take over your life. So that's a warning. It can take over your life. So that's number 4. Morris dancing takes over your life. Number 5 is my final point. I'm worried it could be a longer point, but it's my final point, and I've just written in the words public assumption. And what I kind of mean by that is there's a lot of assumptions that some members of the public will make about Morris dances, where maybe they've only seen like one side before, or there's been some sort of portrayal they've seen and they just assume all Morris dances are like that. I think it's happened to me a little bit less recently, but I definitely have had people come up to me and be like, you're a girl. Are you allowed to Morris dance? And like it's not that new that women have Morris danced well, I mean, they were Morris dancing in the early 1900s, like Mary Neal's Esperance Girls. But like, even aside from that, like, it's not like, we've been doing it since like last summer. It's like, Golden Star, which I'm part of, which formed in arguably either 1979 or 1980. We don't actually know when we formed, but they were a mixed side on formation. It's not a brand new thing. So it's very strange that people think that, we'll be like, a girl Morris dancer, which is interesting as well because I've never really experienced that from other Morris dancers. Like, that's only come from members of the public, so that's, I don't know where they're getting it from. You know, so yeah, this the kind of the stereotype, like they're all old bearded men, and or that they might have like a certain political view or something. And you know, I could be quoting this number wrong, but off the top of my head, from the last Morris census, there's 13,000 Morris dancers in the UK. Like, that's going to represent quite a broad variety of different types of people and opinions, and you know, and so on. So I you know, the only assumption you can really make about a Morris dancer is that they are a Morris dancer, I guess, or that they Morris dance, or that they play music. I don't know. So yeah, I think Morris dancers are a much more diverse group than some people seem to think they are. You know, they're not all men, they're not all straight, they're not all cisgender, they're not all old. You know, they don't all love beer, though. You know, I guess that most of them do. Whatever. You know, they don't all have a certain. They're not all a member of a certain political group, or you know, they didn't all feel one way about Brexit or whatever. You know, they represent as broad a amount of views as anyone else. So yeah, and when I've turned up to dance at pubs, it's been surprisingly, like, it's happened like enough time, like it's not just like a one-off, like it's happened a number of occasions where there's been a sign, Morris men performing here. Okay, like you are allowed to write Morris dancers, but not actually all men. Once when I was out with Golden Star, someone from the side changed the sign from Morris men to Morris dancers, and then later to Morris drinkers, and the pub got really unhappy about that. But yeah, so that's my final point. But overall, yeah, I think I don't really know what my summing up point is. The point is that I don't hate Morris dancing, and even though there are some things that are not my favourite thing, I love Morris dancing overall, and basically, you should Morris dance. You know, it's great. Get a hat. Do you like my hat? Right. That's everything.